Kia ora Shirin, manawa mai a matariki, kia ora e te whānau. Ko manga kia toko manga, ko karamatura toko awa, ko manakau toko whanga. Ko Laurie Ross toko papa, New Zealand nuclear-free peacemakers Aotearoa rongamai toko waka. Ko Laurie Ross toko ingoa. No reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Eco-peace economy of Aotearoa, New Zealand, for well-being of people and planet, and in harmony with the 7 Unitarian Universal Principles. The goal of an eco-economy will only be achieved if there is a transformation of the global economic system so that it can truly serve our higher common values to protect and nurture well-being of humanity and the earth. Te ira tangata e te tai eo. This honors the Unitarian Universalist principle number 7, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. This means realization that the natural environment is interwoven with human beings in the spirit te wairua. The higher values for growing an ecological economy is rooted in ancient spiritual wisdom coupled with modern human evolution of consciousness. To be kaitiaki, the guardians of Papatuanuku, Mother Earth. This is also the foundation for realization of the Unitarian Universalist principle number 6, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. The true purpose of a nation's economy should be social and environmental well-being for an equitable society and healthy ecosystem. This means material, social, cultural, ecological health of people and nature together, rooted in justice, so peace can grow into the spiritual health of nations. You could call it a spiritual human growth economy. However, our current neoliberal economic system does not serve our Unitarian principles nor higher common values of our society, be they Māori or Pākehā. The market-driven economy is merely a man-made machine whose purpose is to achieve maximum financial profits at minimum cost to increase monetary wealth and state GDP. It demands fast-track extraction of natural resources for high turnover, wasteful consumerism. This system does not care about harm to communities and the environment. There is no full cost accounting of negative externalities on people and nature in the neoliberal economy. Thus, this system allows the pollution of rivers, oceans, air, degradation of soil and forest, depletion and waste of precious resources, a climate crisis, poverty that fuels the profit machine. The adverse effects are regarded as collateral damage and the price of progress. This is no longer acceptable. We must transform the economic system as a whole. World-leading economist Kate Raworth's book, Donut Economics, published 2017, provides a transformation model for well-being economy for humanity and the earth. She uses an analysis and a graph provided by the climate scientist Johan Rockström, showing Earth's ecological ceiling in 9 planetary boundaries as the outer circle of the economic donut. We must live within this ecological circle of climate, ocean, ozone, air, fresh water, chemical, soil degradation, soil and land erosion, and biodiversity loss. So you can't have infinite economic growth on a finite planet. We must live within the donut. Kate's inner circle of the donut shows the 12 social foundations for human well-being. They are food, water, housing, healthcare, education, electricity, work, income, justice, human rights, gender equity, political freedom, social networks, and protection of the commons, the conservation of nature. The 12 criteria for human well-being requires transformation of the whole political economic policy system. It aligns with our UU principle number 2, justice, equity, and compassion, applied to the legal and political framework in order for a caring eco-society to flourish. Kate's hypothesis is that the well-being for all of humanity in the natural world can be achieved by the transformation to a regenerative, circular economy for 8 billion people and the Earth to be healthy on life on Earth forever. Scientific knowledge coupled with Māori whanangatanga helps us understand the interconnectedness of nature and humanity expressed in the Wakatoki proverb, "Ko ao te taeo, ko te taeo, ko ao." I am the environment, and the environment is me. The 1992 United Nations Earth Summit Conference in Rio de Janeiro brought together leaders of 194 countries and formulated the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, for environment and development. But the roadmap to achieve these goals is guided by civil society in the Earth Charter of ethical, spiritual principles for humanity and nature. However, the hope is hindered by transnational corporations demanding economic financial growth costing the Earth. So, how do we change? How do we make this transformation possible? It's not from the top down, but requires people at the grassroots to engage in deliberative democracy for restructuring the economy in their town or region. They would apply the criteria for ecological health and community well-being to all economic development projects. This would involve a citizens' assembly that employs the UU principle number 5, the right of conscience and use of the democratic process in our congregation and in society. Currently, the New Zealand government centralizes corporate control, deregulates industry, decreases environmental protection, privatizes public assets for profit, and oversees shareholders. Thus, New Zealand citizens have to fight to defend their ecosystem from each separate harmful form of commercial exploitation for profit. The economic system only rewards a very small proportion of activities that are regarded as profitable, but half the work, essential services for social and environmental well-being, are not rewarded. So the system driving this economy is now called the artificial intelligence AI technological revolution, imposed upon us by the transnational techno-corporation billionaires. The global technocracy enforces the profit rules economic system, running the digital treadmill that we are on. We witnessed loss of thousands of jobs to robots that replace human workers. Why? Because they're cheaper, smarter, faster, more efficient, safe, and effective. Meanwhile, AI data center corporations gobble up New Zealand clean, green electricity power and premium pure water at low prices, depleting our resources. Plus, they get the free extraction of our personal data, and the profits, most of them, go overseas. Do you think this is right or fair? In addition, underpaid workers are made to pay ever-rising costs for water, food, housing, electricity, healthcare, education. This system erodes the foundations of our caring New Zealand society and undermines the UU principle number 1, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Good governance would ensure essential needs are met for all citizens to live a life of dignity. However, the New Zealand government prioritizes multinational corporate welfare over human welfare. It invests more in military instead of environmental defense. The 2025 New Zealand Defence Capability Plan will spend $12 billion of taxpayers' hard-earned money on military warfare technology to be interoperable with US demands and war-making strategy. Do New Zealanders need to be a US pawn in Pacific warfare? The military techno-industrial warfare production is the most profitable industry for economic growth, so it's promoted by governments. New Zealander Sam Vai, CEO of Sinos Company, won the 2026 New Zealand Business Award for mass production of drones, making millions of dollars from warfare. Rocket Lab launches multi-million-dollar Black Sky Palantir satellites, essential for the US-Israel warfare combat targeting for genocide in Gaza, plus murder and destruction in Lebanon and Iran. Do New Zealanders want to be complicit in this war economy? Most New Zealanders would not want our country to make millions from militarism. Thus, it is vital for us to lobby MPs of all parties to invest in human welfare, not warfare. The wealth of this land, this whanua, and our New Zealand workers should serve an eco-peace economy for humanity and the earth to thrive for a world beyond war. Changing the political power party in this election will not solve the problem. We must change the economic ideology that rules all parties. I invite you to think outside the box. Let us apply the UU principle number 4, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, in order to create an economic system whose purpose is well-being of people and planet. Gareth Hughes has established the New Zealand organization Wellbeing Economy Alliance Aotearoa for this purpose. He makes public education presentations around the country showing the international film Outgrow the System and how well-being economics can work in New Zealand. He promotes Maori models for economic well-being, Te Tai Eo, and explains how communities, business, and government can transition to an economic system for social and ecological well-being. This process involves ongoing dialogue, reading, learning, and listening, and developing new ways of thinking and talking about the issues. We need to help each other grow in realization of our higher common values in our community, in New Zealand society, and in the political economic system for the benefit of humanity and the world. This is a communication practice in the UU principle number 3, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation that cultivates the aroha, the love at the heart of our Unitarian and universal higher values of humanity. This is the lifeblood of a peace-loving, ecological, economic system. Tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you.